What is up, you guys? Welcome back to the channel. Thank you so much for clicking on today's video. So today we have definitely a special video. So I'm not sure if a lot of you guys have seen, but The Biggest Loser is going to be coming back on TV. And I just kind of wanted to make a video talking about my opinions on the fact that they're, going to be bringing the show back. I definitely have my own thoughts as far as I think that they could do a lot better job of helping the people that are on the show, especially after the show is done. Because I think that obviously there's a lot of attention that goes into the people that are on the show when they're there, trying to get them to lose as much weight as possible. But where I think that they are failing the most is the education that they're giving to people after the show is done. If you're not familiar with the show, with the five of you, the guys that might not be, there's a group of 16 or 20 people, I don't know exactly. They bring them into this house, and they are living at this house until, they're eliminated for not losing enough weight. So basically, the way that you win the show is by losing the most amount of weight in a certain amount of time. And I think just saying that, it's obvious where the issues can be. You can get very focused on how much weight you can lose as fast as possible, when I've always said that the goal in weight loss needs to be not how fast you can lose the weight, because in reality, it just doesn't matter. It's about how long you can keep that weight off.
I'm bored with the pathetic story. It bores me. Get on the ladder. Are you ready to work? Are you ready to work? Let go of treadmill. Last chance. Abs up. Doesn't come. Shut up. Focus. Do the work. Get on the ladder or go out the door. Dan, no!
So in this video, I didn't want to just sit here and explain my thoughts, because you guys have heard me talk about The Biggest Loser before. So what I thought would be really cool would be to interview somebody that has actually been on the show. So I put it out on Instagram, and my friend Rob actually ended up hitting me up, and he said he was actually on season 16, and he was in the last 3 that were left on the show. So he did really well while he was on the show, and he agreed to do a interview with me for you guys. So the next clip that you guys are going to see is the little interview that I did with Rob. I think it's really insightful, and I'm really glad that I was able to speak to somebody that's been on the show and pick their brains a little bit. All right, Rob, thank you so much for coming on the channel, being on the video. Really appreciate it. So I thought it would be cool if you could just kind of introduce yourself, what season of The Biggest Loser you were on, and maybe how you got to the point of being invited onto the show.
So I was on Biggest Loser season 16. That was the second to last season that they did before they took the most recent break. We were on a season of all past athletes. So I'm a former college rugby player. We had gold medal Olympians. We had NFL players, really cool mix of competitors on my season. That was about 4 years ago to this point. Probably I left in June 4 years ago. So just about 4 years ago today, or this month. The audition process was pretty simple, really. Saw a casting notice on the Biggest Loser Facebook page, and drove out to Boston, where they had open casting call at a Planet Fitness. You really had 2 minutes to talk to a casting director and do anything to stand apart, right? Do anything to make yourself stand out, be noticed. From then went to a private one-on-one interview, and then they flew their final sort of group, or their final casting group, out to Los Angeles for a 2-week sort of interview, medical check, physical, basically final casting process before they selected their final, I believe it was 16, their final 16 to go on the show.
26 years old, I'm almost 500 pounds, Told myself I'd never reach 300. I did that as a freshman in high school. Told myself I'd never reach 400. Did that as a sophomore in college. So I told myself I'd never reach 500. Hit the scales one day at 498, and I said, something needs to be done about this.
And then, so when you first got to, so where was it filmed at? Where was the house that you guys were staying at?
So The Biggest Loser was filmed in Calabasas, just north of Los Angeles, at it's a Gillette State Park. Really beautiful area. They've done a lot of different filming for different things there. the gym was actually like just a big set. Like obviously all the equipment was there, but it was temporary. It's not there anymore. But the house itself is still there. That's part of the state grounds. So that will never go anywhere. King Gillette State Park was the name of the park.
That's cool. So when you guys like first got there, was there any kind of explanation of how everything was going to work? Did they tell you, how a regular day might look when you're staying at the house? Like, what was that like?
It was kind of dependent on whether you were filming that day or not. Film days were very different from non-film days. Non-film days were really nice. It was really free. You could kind of choose to do whatever you want, live your own life. Lovely pool, lovely hiking, like great kitchen. There was no TV, no internet access, no newspapers, no phone access. So you didn't really know what was going on in your outside world, but the little bubble that was King Gillette State Park was really nice, a lot of fun. They kind of gave you the whole heads up during the interview process of like what you're getting into. But I think once you actually get into it and start doing it, you're like, oh, now I get it. This is a little different than I thought it'd be.
So you said like the non-filming days were a little bit different than the filming days. So the filming days, are those days that they're like filming you guys working out and like having the trainers kind of come by and push you guys through the workouts? Was those the filming days?
Yeah, so we probably had like 4 days a week were filming days, and then 3 days were like days off. And filming days would consist of like filming the workouts, filming the challenges, filming the eliminations, meeting with the story producers to do like one-on-one interviews, group interviews, product promos, things like that throughout the course of the week.
During your time there, like what did you think of it? Like did you enjoy your time there? Do you think that it was a good experience? Or, now that you're out of it, you're no longer doing it, looking back, is there anything that you can kind of say, maybe we could have done this better, or maybe this could be better? Because again, this is all about the new seasons coming back out. They're re-releasing the show. People have their thoughts on that. And as someone that's been through it, what are your thoughts? Like, how can they, because like, I would love the show to be able to come back and actually, like, people lose the weight during the show, but then they're able to, keep that weight off, because that's the biggest thing, right? With The Biggest Loser, there's been so many articles of, people that go on the show. It's usually they're always talking about the winners of The Biggest Loser, right? Almost all of the winners have put the weight back on, and hopefully that's not the goal of the show, right? They want people to keep the weight off, but
right.
their history hasn't shown that. So as someone that's been through it, are there things that you're like, these things that I learned during were not helpful and these things were?
Yeah, absolutely. So you're probably talking to one of the people that was like privately the most critical of the process while I was going through it.
Mm-hmm. Great.
While I was on the show, I was very vocal about like just stuff not being cool or not having the best intentions. I thought when I was going on the show that I was a fan of the show before I went on it. So
I would assume so, yeah.
Yeah, it was all very like lovey-dovey, community-based, like super supportive. And then you get on there and you realize like, okay, this is a reality show, and story producers have a job to do, and they're going to create stories. So they're going to highlight, I can follow you around for a week and film you at your worst moments or your best moments and craft a character out of whatever I need from you, right? So I found that side of things to be like way different than I thought it was going to be. I think, like you spoke about, one of the huge criticisms of the show is that a lot of people put on the weight once they get home. The great thing about The Biggest Loser is it does give folks the opportunity to lose weight in this beautiful bubble that is Southern California, right? That's not the real world. I can speak to my personal experience. When I got home, when I was on the show, I was working out 14 to 16 hours a day. Really, like, my whole world was just working out. Wake up, run to the gym, take a class, do my own cardio, take another class, it was an all-day thing. That was your full-time job, was prepping for the show, prepping for the finale, trying to lose as much weight as possible. And then you come back and you have a job, you have friends, you have family, you might have kids, you have other responsibilities in this world, where I was coming back and I was still working out an hour to an hour and a half, 5 days a week, keeping it to 2,000 calories a day. And I went from 250 to 350 in 6 months' time. Like, just all came right back on. Now, 3.5 years later, I was all the way back up to 520 pounds. So it all came right back on. And that story is one that I've heard from almost every single one of my season members. The trainers themselves are super supportive. So my trainer was Dolvec Quince. I also got really close with Jen Wiederstrom. The nutrition staff, the everyone who works on the show is super supportive. There just isn't much of a plan in place or education going on for, okay, what does this really look like when you go home, right? Like, we never sat down with anyone and said, like, what's your plan when you go home? That didn't exist. Ultimately, am I glad I did it? Yes. Now that I'm losing weight on my own, I'm down 90 pounds in the last 6 months. I don't think I could do that. I don't think I could do that without the lessons I learned on The Biggest Loser, and probably the most important one being that I'm capable of doing whatever I set my mind to. And that has nothing to do with weight loss. And that's a lot what this show provides, is the opportunity to really learn more about yourself and what you're capable of and what you can do when you're able to push yourself, right? And that your capabilities are more than you think they are. I'm psyched the show is coming back. Even if the contestants that have gone on it in the past haven't had the greatest success with long-term weight loss, everyone who connects with me on social media who's like, I was inspired by you on the show, or the show inspires me, like, the show makes the biggest difference to the people who watch, right? The actual contestants themselves are such a small part of it. So for the show to be coming back, continue to inspire others, maybe get into a healthier lifestyle, really get into like a more emotionally healthy lifestyle. I think that's really really important.
Yeah, it's crazy, like, hearing what you were saying. You were working out, 12 to 14 hours a day, and like, that's obviously unsustainable when you get home. Like, you have zero responsibilities other than, I need to lose weight.
Yeah.
Then you come home, no matter even if you have barely any responsibilities, you're gonna have more than just, I need to lose weight. So I think, and then like what you were saying, and that's kind of something that I've always said with the show, is you have to teach people what they can do when you get home, like, or even if it would be awesome even if when you were there, they were like, hey guys, we're going to be real with you. When you go home, things are going to be much harder. You're probably going to put on some weight. So just be ready for that. Because I think even that, like, even if you kind of know that it's going to happen, at least once it starts happening, you're like, okay, I knew this was going to happen. They let me know, and they gave me tools. And I think I would say that's the most important thing, because you hit the nail on the head with saying that show really does inspire people to lose weight. Not the people on the show. I've always said, like, I feel really bad for the people on the show because they lose all this weight and then they put it back on, and then there's, all these people that saw them lose weight. They're like, what the heck happened, And like, you inspired me to lose weight, and like, it's almost not fair, like, for the people, in my opinion, for the people that are on the show, because they inspire all these people, and then they're like, well, I don't know what to do anymore. And so I think that really hits the nail on the head, is like, it really can be helpful for the people watching to lose the weight. I would say the one thing that is kind of dangerous with the show is that how fast you guys are able to lose the weight. If you're somebody because a lot of people that are trying to lose a lot of weight, they want to lose it as fast as possible, right? So you see The Biggest Loser, and in your head, you're like, well, they're losing it that fast. Why am I not losing it this fast? So there can be kind of like a weird, relationship there. But I would say, in all, it can be helpful for a lot of people to watch the
Right.
show and see those, you guys losing hundreds of pounds in such a short amount of time. Like, well, I can lose 50 pounds or I can lose 30 pounds.
Just like anything in a movie, on TV, NBC wouldn't pay people to lose 3 pounds a week. Like that's
Yeah.
that's not going to
That
draw
would be
the
very
viewers in.
boring. Yeah.
It's not going to draw the advertisers in. So just like anything, there's going to be more drama, more gravitas to the situation. And I hope the viewers at home know that this is like it's a fantasy land in some respects to go on the show. I think I lost 23 pounds my first week on the show, like something crazy. But what
It's
viewers
crazy.
don't know is that's really a 3-week period, but on TV they make it look like a week period, right?
Wow.
So
Okay.
there's always, it's Hollywood, it's a television show. They need to do things to make it seem unbelievable and amazing. And while that's inspirational, you're right. Sometimes that, oh, well, I'm not losing 10 pounds a week, I'm not doing enough, right? Sometimes that can be tough for the viewers at home. I think overall, you spoke a little bit about like the health of it all. I will say while I was on there, everything is very, and I can only speak to my season. I've heard things, probably like you have too, stories in the past, different things. But my season had a great, amazing staff of athletic trainers on hand who really helped us, like with any injuries, any sort of bumps, bruises, anything muscle tightness, like they took really good care of us. Recovery was a huge part of what we were doing. Cheryl Forsborg was our nutritionist. She was amazing. Dr. H, constantly doing blood work, urinalysis, hydration tests. Like you couldn't weigh in if you were dehydrated. Like there were so many measures had to hit caloric minimums, like had to make sure you were eating, had to track your food. You were watched while you ate to like make sure it was legit. So like I never went below 1,800 calories in a day.
Okay.
So it's like I was never starving myself. So they do put in place all the parameters that you would hope to be healthy. It's just extremely healthy, if that makes sense.
No, I'm really glad that you brought that up, because that's one of the things you hear again about The Biggest Loser is people just become like anorexic, or they're just not eating anything. And then they would do, I'm not sure if they did this when you were on the show, but I remember I watched the first few seasons, and I remember they would literally like have junk food and stuff like in the house. Then they would film people like if they grabbed it. Did they do that at your house?
They didn't have it in the house, but one of our challenges was called the tailgate challenge. And we went to the Rose Bowl in Pasadena and pretended like we were tailgating for a USC football game. And like the biggest loser that ate the most calories at the tailgate got immunity that week, right?
Oh, okay.
So, like on my season, we were all fortunate that, or like we were all smart, I guess, where like none of us went crazy. None of us ate a whole bunch of stuff we shouldn't have. But again, that's like the TV side of things where like, is it probably the best thing to put a bunch of fatties in a place with burgers and hot dogs and mozzarella sticks? No, it's probably not the best thing, but is it really good for TV? Yes, absolutely. It's going to be fun.
Yeah.
It's going to be compelling. And those are some of the things where I was like, anytime we had to do something that wasn't like directly correlated to weight loss, I was like, this really, like all the challenges, like the challenges aren't there, like they're there for entertainment purposes. They're there to see a fat person waddle through the mud, right? Like, it's not like, they're not like, oh, you burned 300 calories waddling through that mud. Congratulations. Like that's not, it's about TV. So there's the balance there and the give and take. And you kind of have to know like, okay, if I want to continue to take advantage of this opportunity, I have to play ball and I have to do the crazy challenges and the temptation challenges. And, but like in the end, I was fortunate. I made it to the final 3. I made it to the finale. Like, that was all really cool. But there's definitely some times where you're like, okay, this is for TV time. I'm going to work with you guys because you guys are working with me to give me the opportunity to be out here and lose weight and all that fun stuff.
Yeah, and then again on top of that, I think that it seems like from what you were saying, again, you were in the second to last season, right? So it seems like they probably learned a lot through their through the seasons as well, especially with making sure people are eating minimums and things like that, because I think it could be very easy if you're on that show. I mean, because that's one of the things that people deal with that aren't on The Biggest Loser is like when you're trying to lose weight, calories become like the enemy in your head, and so it's like how many calories can I cut out, and you become addicted to eating as little calories as possible.
Absolutely.
So I'm sure that on that show that's probably even more. So I think it's good that they are. I think that's very, very important. I didn't know that they were doing that, and hopefully they continue that on this next season that they're going to be releasing, because that's really important. Because I remember there was that huge thing about one of the winners. They were like, "Whoa, this person looks really, really skinny." I remember that was a huge thing. So maybe they learned from that. Who knows? But yeah, I really hope that they implement that in the new season, because I think that's really important. Like, I think it's great TV, but at the same time, like, I don't ever want somebody to get hurt from trying to lose, a bunch of weight or like become very, very unhealthy or something like that, because that would obviously be really, really sad.
Right. I'm excited for the new season because, so I'll be honest, I know as much as you guys know. Like, they don't release any special information to us or anything like that, but I think there's a huge opportunity for them they took some time off, right? Hopefully they're being a little introspective about their process and what apparently this is like it's not just a new season, but it's a rebrand, right? It's a new and improved Biggest Loser. So I'm excited to see some of the things that they change, some of the things they switch up, and hopefully really take some of the constructive criticism that past contestants, onlookers, viewers have provided, and utilize that to create the show that we all know it can be, because it's tremendously powerful and influential in the weight loss community. And the only thing it's missing is seeing that the longevity of health for the contestants that actually go on there. And if they can figure out how to crack that code and make that more long-term focused, I think it can continue to shape lives and build lives and inspire others. And, we all need a little bit more inspiration in this world. So hopefully that's what we get out of it.
Awesome, man. Well, I just wanted to say thank you so much for taking the time out and talking to me. So if anybody wants to find you like on Instagram or anything, how would they get a hold of you?
Yeah, so at Behemoth to Bran is my Instagram handle. I started it 6 months ago when I started this weight loss journey again. My girlfriend works in fashion. She's really into like the big and tall models. So I'm like, all right, I'm going to lose 250 pounds. I'm going to become a big and tall model, and we're totally going to crush this. So that's kind of where like the dream started, and I'm having a lot of fun along the journey, eating keto, getting workouts in, posting it all on my Instagram. So shoot me a follow, shoot me a DM. Like, I'd love to get to know you guys, talk to you guys, and continue to help inspire others. And trust me, like you guys, you particular, but so many people on Instagram continue to inspire me along my journey. It's been a fun 6 months since I joined the Instagram community.
Sweet, man. Thanks again so much.
Of course, brother. Thanks again. Anytime you need anything, feel free to give me a call.
Will do, dude. Again, huge thanks to Rob for coming on and doing that interview. So speaking with him, I think the thing that I noticed the most is, one, obviously it's a show. So what they do on the show is probably not going to change that much because it's TV and they're trying to make good TV. So are always going to be focused on trying to get people to lose a lot of weight while they're on the show. So the only thing that I can hope for with The Biggest Loser coming back is that they do a better job of helping the people that are on the show after they're done with the show. And that means the person that gets last place up to the person that gets first place. I think anybody that takes time out of their life to go on this show should be treated with a little bit more respect, especially when they're done filming. I think that the show can do a lot better job of helping those that are done, giving them more resources, more, access to nutritionists, things like that, to help them do a better job keeping that weight off when they are done on the show. But I would love to know what you guys have to say about the show, what you think, if you used to watch it, if you are going to watch it again. I would love to know your opinions down in the comment section down below. Again, huge thanks to Rob. I will leave all his links down in the description down below. Thank you so much for watching today's video. Make sure you like, comment, and subscribe. There was one other thing that I wanted to say. Oh yeah, look how buff I am.
Obey the warning signs, and when there are flashing lights or wigwags, don't attempt to cross until they come to a complete stop.